Hello my darlings, it's Nikki here today, and today's video is all about your hair extensions. If you love your hair extensions as much as I do, then you're gonna want to watch this video. If you're like me, you want your hair extensions to last for as long as possible. So I'm gonna give you 10 tips and tricks so that you can extend the lifespan of your hair extensions and enjoy them for as long as possible. So without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. So just like with your own hair, you want to try to minimize the amount of heat that you use on your hair extensions as much as possible. The more you're going to expose them to heat, the faster they're going to start suffering the effects of heat damage. If there was one thing I could wish for, it would be hair extensions that could be resistant to absolutely everything, including heat styling. But unfortunately, human hair does have its limits, and especially when you're wearing hair extensions that are not attached to your real head. And because hair is dead, it's going to be vulnerable to heat damage. So you have to treat your hair extensions with even more care than you would with your own hair. If you do use heat styling tools once in a while, which is perfectly normal, the ideal temperature range to stay between is 290 degrees Fahrenheit to 360 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on what kind of heat styling tools you're using. So if you're using a heat styling tool that you're using to just run through your hair, for example, a flat iron, you can go with a higher temperature because you're not going to be exposing your hair to that heat for a very long period of time. If you're using a flat iron, you want to stay between the 300 and 360 degree Fahrenheit range. If you're using a heat styling tool where you're going to be leaving your hair on that tool for a longer period of time, for example 10 to 15 seconds, you want to use a lower temperature because your hair is being exposed to that heat for a longer period of time. So if you're using a curling iron or a curling wand, you want to stay between the 290 and 320 degree Fahrenheit range. You also want to make sure that you always use a very good heat protectant on your hair before any heat styling. At the moment, I'm really liking this heat protectant by Tresemme. It's called Thermal Creations, and it provides heat protection for up to 230 degrees Celsius, which if you convert that, that's about 470 degrees Fahrenheit. You definitely should not even be going anywhere near that temperature, but it's great that it provides that full coverage heat protection. Another tip that I would like to suggest in regards to heat and styling is to embrace heatless hairstyles. There's an abundance of beautiful heatless hairstyles to get waves, to get curls, to get straight hair. Even if you go through the Fancy Hair YouTube channel, I have created so many different heatless hair tutorials to get waves and curls, so make sure to check those out and see for yourself how much healthier your hair is going to be once you start embracing heatless hairstyles over heat. Speaking of heatless hairstyles, I'm rocking one of my most favorite heatless hairstyles of the moment. I did a tutorial on this in my previous video, so make sure to check that out. When you're using products on your hair extensions, you want to make sure that you're using products that do not build up on your hair. That includes mousse, gels, hairspray, anything that has harsh chemicals that's going to strip your hair of its color, of its luster. So try to stick with natural organic products that do not cause buildup on your hair, such as lightweight oils and serums. The more buildup that builds up on your hair, the more frequently you're gonna have to wash them. And the more that you wash them, the more it's gonna strip it of its beautiful color and luster and shine. The third tip on how to protect your fancy is to do your own hair treatment. You can do a coconut oil treatment just like you would for your own hair. Coconut oil is the only oil that can fully penetrate the hair strands because of the size of the molecules. It's perfect for restoring shine, for bringing back life to your hair, and for nourishing it as much as possible. Another great thing about doing a coconut oil treatment at home is that it's going to prevent water from stripping your hair extensions from color, which means that your hair extensions are going to maintain their beautiful color for much longer. So make sure you get a high quality coconut oil that's raw, organic, cold pressed, and I promise you it's going to help you with fading prevention as well as nourishing your hair. The fourth tip on how to protect your fancies is all about washing. So that brings me to the question, how often should your hair extensions be washed? A good guideline to follow is washing your hair extensions every 10 to 20 wears, or anytime you feel like there's too much product buildup on the hair and it becomes very difficult to style. I personally wash my hair extensions about every 20 wears or so because I don't use any products that create buildup. So here's how to wash your hair extensions in the gentlest and safest way possible. When you're ready to wash them, gather all of your hair extensions together in the same direction. So you want to make sure that the top of the wefts are bunched up together. Then what you want to do is tie a hair elastic around the base, right underneath the wefts, so that the rest of the hair is just hanging loose. Next, you want to get a large container, put it in the sink, and fill it up with lukewarm water. Then put the hair extensions in the lukewarm water and add 1 teaspoon of a natural organic shampoo. Try to get a shampoo that's highly moisturizing and that doesn't have any harsh chemicals or sulfates that are going to strip your hair of moisture and color. I personally really like Andalou Naturals and find that the ingredients in it are very gentle on my hair extensions. So once you add a teaspoon of the shampoo to your lukewarm water, you want to gently work the shampoo into your hair extensions until you get a soft lather, and then rinse them as you would your natural hair. After you rinse them, you want to condition just like you would your natural hair. Again, use 1 teaspoon of the conditioner, run it through the hair extensions, and then rinse it out. Once you've rinsed your hair extensions, all you want to do at this point is take a big towel and lay it down on a flat surface. It could be on a table, on your bed, or on the floor even. Whatever you do, do not brush your hair extensions when they are wet, because this is going to damage your hair extensions. Human hair is extremely fragile when it is wet. So when you're going to be brushing them when they're wet, what you're doing is essentially stretching each strand and breaking down the chemical composition of the human hair strand. So whatever you do, do not brush your hair extensions. Simply take off the tie and you're going to lay out each weft onto the towel and just leave it out to dry. Now your hair extensions are going to take about a full day or two to dry completely, depending on how thick they are. And that's fine. Just be patient and do not touch them whatever you do. Once they're dry, you can go ahead and start brushing them out one by one, starting from the bottom and working your way up to the top. So to brush my own hair and my hair extensions, I have a wooden brush like this that has wide bristles and they're very soft. There's absolutely no metal in it and the bristles are not condensed, so they're not going to be pulling on my hair as I'm brushing. It's going to give me a nice gentle brush as I go along. I purchased this at my local Whole Foods. I'm sure that you can look it up online. Just type in wooden brush with wide bristles and I'm sure you're going to find a bunch of different options. So the key here is to start brushing from the bottom and working your way up to the top. That is the gentlest and most safest way of brushing your hair extensions. You also want to brush your hair extensions in the same way when you're installing your hair extensions. So before you clip in each weft of your fancy hair extensions, you want to make sure that you brush it out thoroughly, starting from the bottom and working your way up to the top. Fancy hair extensions come in a box that looks like this. This is my box for my fancy hair extensions that I'm wearing right now. Our boxes have been designed to store your hair extensions safely. When I put my hair extensions away, all I do is gather all of the hair extension wefts in the exact same direction, and then I tie a hair elastic around the top, exactly like I would as if I were about to wash them. Once I tie them together at the top and they're facing all the same direction, I twist them and gather them into like a spiral shape so it would fit right into this compartment right here. Once they're in my box, I just close it and I store it where it's cool, it's dry, and I know it's going to be safe from getting damp or damaged in any way. You definitely don't want to leave this out in the open where it's exposed to the sun, because it's going to start to fade the color of your hair extensions, and it's also going to weaken the glue that holds the wefts in place. So each fancy hair weft is reinforced with a special glue to make sure that the wefts are double reinforced and they're gonna have a very minimal amount of shedding. So if you expose this glue to the sun, what it does is wear it down and it starts to break down the glue, and your hair extensions are gonna start shedding way more than normal. So that's why you wanna make sure that you always store your hair extensions in a cool, dry place. So you're in school and it's time for phys ed, or you're off to the gym to get a good workout in, but you're wearing your fancy hair extensions and you really don't want to take them out. What do? When we sweat, we tend to sweat a lot at the nape of the neck. And if you wear hair extensions on a frequent basis, you'll notice that the hair extensions that are located at the nape of the neck are the first pieces to start to mat and start to tangle. Why does that happen? That's because of sweat and constant friction against the back of your neck. Unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing that we can do about that, but there are some things that we can do to prevent a lot of damage. So what you want to do before phys ed class or going to work out or doing any type of physical activity is to try to get your hair off of your neck, and to make sure that your hair doesn't get tangled while you're being physically active, you want to pull it back. What I personally like to do is braid my hair extensions in a way that they're going to cause the least amount of friction as possible. So anything off to the side, like a big chunky side braid or a low bun at the back of the neck, that's going to create the least amount of friction, and it's going to prevent most of your hair from being exposed to any sweat. So you can still look cute when you're working out, but just make sure that you tie away your hair in a way that it's not going to get damaged. Tip number 8 is something that I emphasize so much to all my friends that wear hair extensions, is never ever go to sleep with your hair extensions clipped into your hair. Not only is it damaging to your own hair because you're constantly pulling on your hair, which causes your hair to break and fall out, but it's also bad for your hair extensions because you're causing more friction against your pillow, and any type of friction that you're going to cause against your hair extensions is going to make your hair feel drier, more brittle, and it's going to be more prone to breaking, splitting, and falling out. So whatever you do, do not go to sleep in your hair extensions. It only takes 5 minutes to take them out, so don't make any excuses. I'm watching you. So this is a big question that I get asked a lot. I know that you love to wear your hair extensions on vacation or in the summertime, and you're gonna be in situations where you're gonna wanna go swimming, whether it's in the pool or the lake or the ocean. I totally get that. So how do you protect your hair extensions from getting damaged when you're going swimming? Well, if you can, try not to wear them when you're going swimming. Again, it only takes 5 minutes to take them out and about 10 minutes to put them in. So if you know you're going swimming, try to take them out in advance. But if you absolutely cannot live without swimming with your hair extensions clipped into your hair, I would recommend putting them in a high, loose top knot on top of your head and try to prevent from going into very deep waters. By putting them up on your head, you're going to prevent chlorine or harsh salts from the ocean and getting in your hair and tangling them up and getting them dry and brittle. So that's your best defense if you cannot resist going into a pool, lake, or ocean without your hair extensions clipped into your hair. And my last tip is all about color matching. This is another thing that I get asked all the time. Can fancy hair extensions be colored? Fancy hair extensions have already undergone a chemical process to achieve their color. They're also able to accept color exchange, but keep in mind that this hair is not attached to your head, and just like your own hair, you don't want to overexpose it to too many chemical processes because it is not good for your hair. So I have a few tips to make sure that you get the best color match possible. The first tip is to select the fancy hair shade that you love the most, or that is the closest to your current hair color, and then take your hair extensions to your hairdresser and ask your hairdresser to color match your natural hair to the color of the hair extensions. That way you're going to get a seamless, natural blend without affecting the quality of your hair extensions in any way. The second option is to select a shade that is slightly lighter than your current hair color. It is much safer to dye your hair extensions a darker color than it is to dye them a lighter color, because any kind of chemical process that involves bleaching or lightening the hair is going to cause the most amount of damage to your hair extensions, and unfortunately we can't guarantee that the quality of the hair extensions will be the same as you first received them, and their lifespan might be affected as well. So if you decide to color your fancy hair extensions, make sure you're coloring them a darker color rather than lighter color to make sure that your fancy hair extensions last for as long as possible. The final alternative is to send us pictures. We love seeing you guys, we love helping you guys, so feel free to send some photos of your current hair color and ask us to assist you with color matching. What we like to ask our customers to do is send us a few pictures of their current hair color color at different angles in natural light. And another thing that we ask is to make sure that the ends of your hair are clearly visible in every single photograph, because the ends of your hair is the only part that really needs to blend with the hair extensions. So if your hair is darker at the top, just like mine is, and it's lighter at the bottom, the top of your hair color is not really relevant, because as you can see, my hair extensions only need to blend in with my ends. And my hair extensions are one solid color, they're not ombre. These are the 240-gram set in the color Hazelnut Dirty Blonde, and the top of my hair is many shades darker than this color, and they still blend naturally and seamlessly. You can't tell where my natural hair ends and where my hair extensions start. And to send us your pictures, you can send them to our email. Our email is info@getfancyhair.com. Okay, my beauties, so that's it for my 10 tips on how to protect your fancies. I hope you guys found these tips very useful and will apply them to your own hair extensions, because I want you guys to have hair extensions that are gonna last as long as possible. So try out these tips at home and let me know how they worked for you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please be sure to do so. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.